Hi everyone, I'm Amy. My pronouns are she and her, and today I will be talking about mirror mirror. Sorry, throat's a bit dry, hay fever, all that usual annoying stuff of living in Melbourne. So, we are back to the cursed laptop. I am so sorry. This laptop does not like this display adapter, and I hope no one is going to complain too much. Let's just roll with it. Okay, we are rolling with it. So, mirror mirror on my iPhone, show me my workout, which is all about this amazing new feature that is coming next week in iOS 17 and watchOS 10, which allows you to take a phone and then also an Apple Watch and see all of your stats as you're doing a workout mirrored between the two. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of involvement in it. And sorry to any Sydney people, I gave this talk last month. It's the same talk, but yay, it's awesome, it's fun. Okay, a bit about me. I am an iOS developer. I've got a blog, I've got a company, I'm on Mastodon. I cycle a lot, like I'm typically out somewhere doing something, and I travel the world. So that is all about me. The talk. So this particular talk, we are going to cover what the problem is. So how have people tried to get information between the iPhone and the watch in the past? What are some solutions? What are the issues that are typically involved? What's this new thing called workout mirroring? And then we're going to look at some of the particular working and moving bits, such as creating a session, sending data, receiving data, getting updates from the watch, and testing considerations. And hopefully, after a month, I've been able to remember the order of the slides. Okay, first up, the problem. So, anyone building a workout app has tried to do this in the past, where you want data recorded from the watch, such as your heart rate. You also want stuff appearing on the phone. You want them to be in sync, and hopefully none of this annoying flicker. I'm sorry, it's a cursed laptop, and let's just run with it. I'm just going to have fun with the fact that it's like that. This particular laptop in the past years has done weird things with colors as well. So there are actually some very fun talks out there of mine where the screen is just doing weird things. And we go with it. Okay, the problem. Sending of the data. When you send data between the two devices, it needs to be as a dictionary and some other fun stuff. The timeliness of the data itself is always dependent on Apple. You have no control over it. So you can say, hey, send this data. But what ends up happening is watchOS or iOS may go, no, we're just going to batch this up, and then you get half a minute's worth of data in one transmission. And it's not really viable for a workout where you want everything going instantly between the two devices. You've also got the different responsibilities between the devices. So are you recording something on the phone? Are you recording it on the watch? What particular sensors in a cycling workout are paired to what? And stuff like that. After the workout has finished, who's going to be recording the data, and also who sees all of the data. So it's actually a very complex problem in order to get right. So let's have a look at what are some fairly novel solutions people have decided to do. The main one is watch connectivity. So this is the existing bits of iOS and watchOS that allow you to transmit data between two devices. This relies on the devices being awake or receiving data in the background. It's all at the mercy of watchOS and iOS as to when it gets sent. You've got Bluetooth, and both your phone and your watch can be set up to act as Bluetooth sensors and receivers, and you can get yourself into a fair mess when you try to do that. And another option is, hey, let's just sync everything via CloudKit. Yeah, no. Sending everything up to a remote server and then pulling it back down sounds okay, but when you're trying to do it and have the data in sync and reliable and actually timely, it just doesn't work. Plus, if you're out in the bush somewhere, you're not going to have internet connection. Oh, okay. The issues, as I've said before, you've got timely updates. You're at the mercy of everything watchOS and iOS want. You've got two-directional communication is fairly complex, and you're not going to have any guarantees around the transmission as well. Cool. So now we have the solution from Apple, which is workout mirroring. This was announced at DubDub. I had a lot of fun picking apart all of this SDK, asking all the questions when I was there at Apple Park, and yeah, like a lot of thought has gone into this, which is definitely fun. So, first thing you need to do is you need to check that the Watch app is installed. If the Watch app isn't installed, then you're going to run into problems because you will end up with, like you're not going to get the session created or anything like that. To do this, you typically look at the default instance of WC Session, and you've got a few different options for the types of information you can get. You can get information about whether the app is visible or whether the app is installed. If the app is visible, it means that the app is running on the device, as in active on the watch. And that's good if you're using WC Session and watch connectivity to transmit all of the data. In this case, what you want is something like, is the watch app installed? Now, the reason I will cover in a few slides, hopefully, when I talk about this fun thing called the app delegate. We all remember that, don't we? That's where we throw every bit of logic into an app. And yeah, no, no one needs to laugh at that bad joke. Okay, so from your phone, you've got the phone, you've gone, yep, I want to start a workout. So what you do here is you get this workout configuration. You tell it, what type of activity it is it outdoor, indoor, a few other things based on the activity. And then you say to the HK store instance, go ahead and start this configuration on the companion device. And another thing you do on the phone is you listen for the creation of the session from the watch. So the actual sort of flow is you started on the phone saying, hey, go create this configuration on the watch. The watch then goes and creates the session. Then the watch talks back to the phone and it calls this callback. Callbacks are still used. A lot of the time they're just transparently wrapped into async await because Apple Magic, which is good. You don't have to worry about all of the fun of Objective-C. If you're familiar with HealthKit, you know Objective-C is still everywhere. And all of the structure of the actual framework you're using is going to be Objective-C. You can't escape it. So this callback happens, and then you've got an instance of HK workout session on your phone that you can use to transmit data between them. A little bit convoluted. Okay, over on the watch. You get, I didn't put in a slide for the actual app delegate stuff, and I hyped it up, and I'm sorry. Okay. You get a call to the app delegate. It will say, hey, go start this workout. Here is your HK workout configuration. You then go to whatever part of your code is handling the workout session creation, and you say, okay, here is your configuration. Please go and create the session. You then want to create a builder. Now, if you're creating a workout session on the phone, you don't actually get what's called a live builder. The live builder only exists on the watch, and the watch is there because it's the only one that for some reason can actually receive all of your heart rate and all of that other data. It's a bit weird, the separation. I'm not going to complain, but yep, this is what you do. You get your session, you get your builder, you assign all of your delegates, you then assign data sources because, yeah, all of this stuff is seriously old in design patterns, but it works and it's all good. And then you say, okay, session, go start mirroring to the companion device. In this case, the watch's companion is the phone, and that's when you get the callback. And off you go. You now have the sessions in sync and transferring data and everything like that. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So you've got your session, but you want to pause it or you want to do something else like resume it or end it. So you can do this stuff with the session state. If you pause the session on one device, you are then going to get a delegate callback on the companion device going, here is your state changes. So you go, are we going from a running to a paused or a paused to a running? Are we going from anything to an ended or a stopped? Then this is what you will get. Cool. Sending data. Okay, with the data transmitted via the HK workout session, it's all encoded data. So you are sending bits of data from one device to another, which means you take your type. Hopefully you're using value types because value types are awesome. And you then do some, because the value type is going to be codable, which is best practice, you then do JSON or some other form of encoding down to data, and you send along that data via the session. This can happen on either end, so either of the two devices can send data to the other. It is the same behavior. Receiving of the data. Here's where it gets a bit fun because it's an array. Now, I went on about timeliness of data before, and if this was just an instance of data, we would know that it's discretely sending each thing through to the different device. But it's not. This is an array, meaning that iOS and watchOS will try to determine what is going to be the most optimal transmission rate between the two devices. And it's a lot better than watch connectivity, but at the same time, it's going to be batched. Like it might be one element in an array, it might be 10 elements in an array, and you just have to deal with the fact that they all are coming there in a batch. So hopefully you're sending a timestamp and you're able to look at it and go, okay, I've decoded all of this. What's the range? Do I just throw some stuff out because I don't care about it? All of those smarts you will have to do and take care of yourself. Cool. Awesome. Updates on the watch. So the watch with its live workout builder is the one that will receive stuff like your heart rate or any samples from like a power meter or a cadence meter that are paired directly to the watch. So if that's what's happening, then you will get all of these health kit samples or health kit events on the live workout builder delegate, which is all of your health kit data already part of that session now because health kit magic, but you then sort of look at it, transform it from the quantity sample or some other bit of information and send it through to the companion device. Cool, awesome. What you've now got is you've got, say, your heart rate coming from the watch, and you're able to show it on the phone, and you're able to keep everything on the phone as you go forward, which is awesome. Cool. Okay, testing considerations. This is where it gets a bit fun because you can't use the simulator. You have to use physical devices, which in the case of cycling data means you're either stuck on an indoor trainer for a long time or you're going to be out cycling. You've got your laptop in a pannier or something and you're just going point to point, debugging, tweaking things, and then going off again. So you've got a lot of fun there. And yeah, as with any sort of workouts, there are just so many variables and considerations to go with. One of the things I discovered a bit more recently after doing this particular talk is if you've created this session on the watch, you need to then make sure that you stop that session, and you also need to make sure that any extra data you get from the phone gets written to that session so that it is all available in the health app. All of these fun things you actually don't realize just with the simulator because you can't use the simulator and you need to be out on the road and cycling, which is fun. Okay. I sort of sped through that, and that's the end of the talk. Are there any questions?
Oh, do you want? I'll do mine first. Why can't you use the simulator to test? Did I miss that?
Something up a little lazy.
Okay, so I just that's good enough.
Okay, sorry. That was a bit abrupt of me.
Hardware.
Yeah, I don't know the real reason why this particular bit of functionality is not available between Simulate iPhone and Watch Simulator. It's weird because you can do stuff like your watch connectivity. Some of the delegates get called so you can see the actual interactions with the watch becoming active with the app delegate callback, but what doesn't happen is the creation of the HK workout session, which is the thing you need because that's what handles the communication. Yeah, Yeah, if I ever end up on the other side of the wall and working on this stuff, I'll probably make it work, but I'm not there, so yep. That is definitely also to say that there are really ridiculously smart people working on this health stuff. So yeah, I think it's just not their priority. Cool. Ed, I think you had a question. Do you want to wait for the microphone?
Hang on.
Oh,
hang on. I'm gonna work my way this way. If that's cool.
Okay.
This makes it easier.
I've got a quick one. So in the end, you've got your watch connectivity that you had, and then you've moved to this one. Do you end up with smaller batch sizes than you had? Like, is that the essential difference between the two?
So this question was around what are the essential differences between just using watch connectivity straight up and the new workout mirroring? Watch connectivity was never guaranteed. So which means you'd need the app to be running in the foreground, and you would need watchOS and iOS cooperating in order to guarantee the delivery in a timely manner. That's what workout mirroring does.
Okay, my question is around, I know the talk is around the connectivity, so if this goes into too much of just like how does the HealthKit data work, but how do you specify that you want like a heart rate, for example? Is that specified in the builder, and you could like filter that out and decide not to send that through to the session? Is that how it works?
Okay, so the question is a general HealthKit one of how do you ask for the right data to be recorded? And when you are dealing with HealthKit, because government regulations and privacy are paramount with health data, and they always should be, you need to be very explicit around what the data is you can read, which is, say, getting something from HealthKit, and what is the data you can write. So in the case of heart rate on the Apple Watch, you need to have the permission to read it. If you don't have that permission, you just do not see the data at all. So the data does not come into the builder as a sample if you do not have that permission. Once you get it into the builder and as a sample, you can do whatever you want because you're exposed to it and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that covers. Yeah, so the access to the health and specifying what data you're requesting from the watch, for example, is completely untouched by this, and this is just a sort of like a transport mechanism for whatever data you are seeing that is designed to be more timely.
Yep, pretty much.
Cool, thanks.
Any questions over here? Hey, hang on. No, I'm not. Oh, yeah, jeez.
It wasn't so much a question, Amy, as I think a comment. I think part of your challenge is that the other half of the workout is on your bicycle instrumentation, and you're trying to integrate the two data streams.
Oh, it's worse than that. So there is no guarantee that someone will pair all of their devices to the phone. They can always pair it to the watch, which means that data, it's sort of, if a device is paired to the watch, the path for seeing the actual values will be the device gets picked up by HealthKit, you see all of the samples come through. Those samples appear in your watch target's code. and then you decide what you want to do with them, such as send them through to the phone, display it directly, whatever you want. So in my particular case, I need to make sure that connections are possible on either device. Data gets transmitted in both directions. I'm not doing anything horrible like constantly sending the same data back and forth and stuff like that.
Somewhat to that point, and I guess to Pat's question, I guess to simulate a workout, you'd actually have to have a set of time series data that is replayed in real time. And Apple obviously don't have that at the moment, right, Amy? So
they do.
Do they?
So
okay, well there you go.
Within the iOS simulator, you can select a location. One of those locations is a bike ride, which is time series data of location updates around Cupertino.
Okay, but heart rate data and all that kind of stuff that you'd normally have in your workout,
you don't get
screen, you're not going to get that.
You don't get the heart rate, you don't get the power, you don't get any of that.
Simulating location changes has been there for quite a while, I think. But
Yep.
yeah, for the workout itself, you'd need somebody to record all that and replay it.
Like, I'm hopeful that there is a large amount of that data somewhere in Apple Park that they can just go, hey, let's make use of this.
Any other questions? Comments? All right, let's give it a round of applause.